This is Bethany.
Hi, I'm Bethany with PlumEasy Patterns, and I'm going to show you how I'm using a layer cake to make our orange peel block that we have here. I've got 5 pieces to my orange blossom block. I've got 2 snowball corners, a large curve, a small curve, and my petal piece. And from one layer cake, I can cut those 2 curves, my petal, and I'm going to get 2 squares out of the corner for my snowball. So let me show you how I do that. I first cut with the rotary cutter and a ruler my 2-inch squares out of the corner. And I'm leaving kind of, because it's a pinked edge on this, I'm leaving like a generous 1/8 of an inch on one side, and I'll go in and square up that edge later. And then I'm not using any kind of ruler to cut this. I'm just going to freehand this and be very careful with my rotary cutter and do a generous 1/4 inch on this curve here. So I like to do my rotary cutter pretty straight and curve my fabric as I go. I might have to move it and do generous 1/4 inch. It doesn't have to be very pretty, but that's what I'll do there. My petal piece, I like a generous 1/2 inch of fabric on there, and again, I don't have to do anything accurate on that. And then this one here, on my small arc piece, I need at least a 1/4 inch on my ends and this piece here, but everything else on my square here, the 2 long edges on both pieces have your 1/4 inch seam allowance worked in, so any excess fabric on this is just insurance for when we go to square up our block. Top and go?
Yeah, go ahead.
Are you filming?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is our 1/4 inch seam allowance on our fabric. This will be the right side here, the wrong side with that freezer paper iron to the wrong side. And I'm going to take my school glue stick and run it along the edge here. Doesn't have to be pretty. And then I like to work from the middle and go to one side and fold that seam allowance there over, and it'll be tight to the curve. Okay. Same thing on my large piece, and I find that because this curve is very gradual and kind of large, I don't have to go in and clip this. All this fabric's on bias here. I don't have to.
I already see a step left out.
Yeah.
You don't need to do.
Yeah. I like to quilt very accurately and very fast, and I don't want to be accurate, but I want accurate results. So that's my small piece and my large piece with the right side up. My petal fabric, I'm gonna do the petal piece ironed to the right side of the fabric instead of to the wrong side like I have here. And I'm gonna start with my small piece.
And why is that? Why do you do it?
So I'll show you there. This one is going to stabilize my fabric here. So usually the petal here is, most of it's on bias, or the whole edge is on bias, and it warps when you go. This is gonna help us place this here, right on top of that fabric we folded over. I'm gonna do a little bit of glue, and then line this up right next to there. Okay, I mean as close as I can get it. And it kind of seems counterintuitive to not leave any space there. Let me see. Oh, I got that a little wrong there. Let me try that again.
You can kind of feel the piece under the paper there.
So we want the edge of this to line up with the edge of this here, since they're nestled up. Okay. So we come to our sewing machine, and if I peel this fabric up, here's what we're going to do. We're going to leave everything down except for the fabric that's going to be peeled away all along the edge. And I can run my nail across this, and I can feel there's about a needle's width worth of space between this, this piece here and this piece here. And that's where I want my needle to go. If I can sew next to a line, I can sew this block. So I will bring this to my machine and sew right next to that line. And if I catch the paper, usually it's not a very big deal. But I'm going to sew as close to that line as I can get without catching the petal too. But if you can follow a line,
it kind of hurts the paper if you sew it, so it won't hurt anything.
Yeah.
Over the fabric.
I think I've got like this away. The longer the glue has to dry, the easier it is to peel the fabric away. It kind of peels away pretty. So we've cleaned up our edge here once we've peeled the paper off. And we already know it's going to lay flat because we started with it laying flat and that 1/4 inch press under. So we don't have to guess if this is going to, you know, turn into a pocket instead of a, you know, a plate here. Same thing with our large curve. We're going to put the glue right on the edge of that fabric. And then this time, the edge of our template here, this corner is going to overlap 3 inches past our, sorry, 3/4 inches past our point. Okay, so I can nestle that up. I can feel here the edge of that template is about 3/4 inches, about 3/4 inches. Press it down, and again, leave everything down except for that one piece of fabric will peel away from the freezer paper piece all along the edge. And again, we'll take that to our machine and just sew as close to that paper as we can get without catching it. And I've made a lot of these, so I'm pretty confident in them, and I can go pretty much pedal to the metal while I'm sewing this. My first few, you know, it's short enough that it's not going to be a big pain in the butt to go a little slower on that. So there's that. I like to peel from the back middle, just peel that off. Okay, we'll clean this up again here. Again, freehand, be very careful, but it's doable. Don't be drinking a glass of wine while you're doing that. And you can see here, this side's a little scant, this side's a little, you know, generous. It doesn't quite matter because it's already been pieced. Moment of truth here.
Wow.
There's our block. Okay, so what you see here is because we're using this piece here, the pedal piece, to size where we place these pieces. Every block here is going to have the exact same pedal shape, size, and we can square up our block based on that. So we're not going to have to cut accurately, and we're not going to have to sew anything other than right on a line, but we're going to get the same size block every time.
But we're going to square it up accurately.
Yeah, and so the stencil we use to cut our freezer paper pieces. This is where we got.
This is freezer?
It's a very thick.
It's that thick,
Yeah, it's very thick. It's called Cut Right, and it's for quilting. It's wonderful. If you're using grocery store freezer paper, you can take 2 sheets and iron them together, and they'll become a little thicker, and you can cut your pieces from that. A customer showed us this. She was taking a class from us, and she was trying to square up her block, and she realized she could lay her stencil right on top.
Yeah.
That'll nestle into there, and you can just mark your 4 corners, and then use your regular ruler to square that up. So you get, you know, like we have here, we have these super accurate blocks of, you know, curved pieces that weren't very hard to do. There's, you know, 3-4 seams in the whole block, and the rest of the piecing on that's really easy to make accurate. So.